Another video. Today I will be doing a book haul over the books I have recently gotten. There are three main camps, or four-ish I guess. There's narrative, nonfiction, and fiction. I have history, I have political philosophy, and just more like political science, and more like metaphysical theology and philosophy. So let's begin. I've gotten Metaphysics, a very short introduction by Oxford University Press. I really like this series. I have a lot of their books. They're good to get like an overview of the academic setting of whatever field you want to study or like topic of interest. So I want to get into metaphysics and like the more like pinpoint academic understanding of metaphysics instead of, and I want to move away from primarily academic texts, which I will, not academic texts, primary texts of like ancient philosophers, which are still important. I've got On Grace and Free Will by St. Augustine, which is important to understand Augustine's view of free will. And he does refute the Pelagians in this, so that is important if you want to understand the history of the church councils and refutations of heresy. And then I've also gotten On the Trinity by St. Augustine, which is his most important doctrinal thesis and also one of the most important works of Christianity to, like in general. I'm most happy and I'm anticipating most his explanation of human nature within this book and how it parallels the Trinity. I've heard about that part of On the Trinity, so I'm excited to read that. And the newest book I've gotten is Eternal Life, 3 Theological Essays by St. Dimitri Staniloae. It is a much more contemporary work. He died in, I believe, the 2000s, like very early 2000s. So it'll be interesting to read into the works of political philosophy and just more like in general political works. More of AI and how we get there. This isn't exactly political, but it will have ramifications for politics. I bought it on a whim because I do want to be interested. I want to know more about AI and its like relationship to philosophy. So that is a book I just bought because I want to delve more into that topic later on. I bought Cicero's Laws and the Republic. The Republic part of this book is unfinished and we don't have it because time erodes stuff. But yeah, it will be interesting to read Cicero's thoughts on an ideal republic and the laws in which he would incorporate into this republic. It is written in dialogue format, so it is very reminiscent of Plato. I have read The Republic by Plato, so that I hopefully will follow in the similar vein. And this is a more influential work of post-liberalism, Why Liberalism Failed by Patrick Deneen. He essentially argues that liberalism in its current iteration of liberal democracies has failed because it has succeeded in its success of individualism, it fails in allowing for essentially a majority consensus and a cohesive nation. So that'll be interesting to read. It was written in 2017, I believe, and he is a professor at Notre Dame University. So it will be interesting to read that book. And I bought it. This is the most recently published book that I own, The Rise and Fall of Rational Control by Harvey Mansfield. He was a professor, or he might still be a professor at Harvard. And this is his his history of modern political philosophy. It starts with Machiavelli and ends with Nietzsche. I feel like he could have gone into more of the post-structuralist or the postmodernist, but he didn't. But yeah, this will be interesting to read. It was just published in 2026, and it is about how, as we get farther and farther on in history, the individual political philosophers appeal less and less to reason, I believe. And he essentially states that liberalism as a concept and conservatism, they have to work in unison with each other. At least that's what I've heard him say. So that will be interesting to read. Now, I've also wanted The Decline of the West by Oswald Spengler. It details civilizational cycles and Spengler's theory of how civilizations arise and fall and how they're cyclical. And it is the main opponent to the more Hegelian conception of history as a progressive force. So it will be interesting to read. It will be very dense to read. And I did buy the abridged version, so hopefully that makes the ease of reading better. But yeah, it will be very good to read. Yeah. I've also wanted The 12 Caesars by Mary Beard. It is a much more contemporary work of history, and it, in essence, is about how art is able to portray power. And this one is about the 12 Caesars and how art has progressed with time to portray these people. Now I'll go on to more of the narrative works. I've bought in the Odyssey, and I already have the Iliad, so I will plan on reading these during the summer. Obviously, they're both by Homer. I do get my name from the Iliad, Troy, so I do have a kind of a personal connection to this book. So yeah, I want to read the Odyssey before the movie releases, so I'll try to read it during the summer sometime. I've also bought Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, who was a Nigerian novelist, and I have read a series of essays by him, which were very good. So yeah, I would like to read his more narrative work and his fictional work. And I've also bought an auto memoir by Bob Dylan, Chronicles. Bob Dylan is one of my favorite artists, so I would like to read a book by him. It says volume 1, but I believe that this is the only volume that has released so far. This was released in 2006, so I doubt volume 2 will release, hopefully one day. But yeah, I really like Bob Dylan as an artist, and he has won the Nobel Prize in Literature, so that shows his ability to write and just his poetic genius. So yeah, those are the books I have recently bought in since the beginning of the year, and I do want to read these books. Currently, I'm still making my way through the 10 Great Works of Philosophy. I'm reading Kant's Prolegomena to Any Future Metaphysics. It is essentially an overview of Kant's whole philosophical system in regards to epistemology, and I have made decent amount of progress through it. I've also recently finished Hume's Inquiry into Human Understanding, which is an outstanding work of philosophy. I feel like his essential takedown of cause and effect brings about many questions within me, and it has made me think about how we prove things and essentially just all of my epistemological framework. And I'm also reading A Political History of the World by, I believe his name is Holseg, Jonathan Holseg. I will write an essay on it, probably on my Substack, about the history of political justification. So yeah, those are the books I'm reading and the books I am planning on reading soon. So thank you, subscribe, goodbye.